World Bank is committed and ready to support Indonesian agriculture and food system through data-driven digital technologies and innovations. Happy Farmers Day. Let's empower Indonesia.
Menciptakan sistem pertanian berbasis data merupakan salah satu tantangan sekaligus peluang utama untuk mengembangkan industri agrikultur di Indonesia. Bersama dengan organisasi dan institusi lain, Microsoft siap mendukung hadirnya ekosistem agrikultur digital Indonesia melalui Cultivhacktion. Mari bersatu untuk berdayakan ekonomi digital Indonesia. Selamat Hari Tani Nasional.
Hai semuanya, saya Pamitra Wineka, CEO dari TaniHub Group. Mewakili semua Tani Squad, kami ingin mengucapkan Selamat Hari Tani Nasional bagi seluruh pejuang pertanian Indonesia. Semoga sektor pertanian Indonesia bisa terus tumbuh dan menjadi kekuatan ekonomi Indonesia di kancah global.
We, Data Science Indonesia, are ready to empower the agriculture of Indonesia by enabling the data science communities to create data innovations in agriculture. Happy National Farmers Day! Let's collaborate to empower Indonesia.
Kami, mewakili Grow Asia dan Peace Agro, terus berkomitmen dalam mendukung industri pertanian di Indonesia melalui implementasi model-model kemitraan multi pihak yang melibatkan pemerintah, swasta, dan aktor lainnya yang mendukung inovasi pertanian yang berkelanjutan dan inklusif. Selamat Hari Petani Nasional. Mari bersatu berdayakan Indonesia.
Hi, my name is Wesley Harjono from GK Plug and Play Indonesia. We are ready to empower Indonesia's agriculture industry through our open innovation platform that supports young innovators and talents. Happy National Farmers Day. Let's collaborate to support our local farmers.
Saya Arif Satria, Rektor IBB University, mengucapkan Selamat Hari Tani Nasional. Semoga semakin memperkuat kekuatan pertanian Indonesia dan mempercepat proses transformasi menuju pertanian modern sesuai dengan situasi terkini di era revolusi industri 4.0. Semangat, bangkitlah pertanian Indonesia.
We, FAO Indonesia, are ready to empower the agriculture industry of Indonesia by reducing food loss and food waste and promoting food safety in Indonesia. Happy National Farmers Day. Let's collaborate to empower Indonesia.
global agri-food system sustains the world's ever-growing population, creates millions of jobs, and is critical in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. But the global agri-food system is not fit for purpose and stresses the environment by generating up to 29% of greenhouse gases. And while there is an overabundance of food, 820 million people are undernourished worldwide. This is due to the global agri-food system being held back, partly by transaction costs and information asymmetries, which prevent profitable transactions. The agri-food system is complex, and it takes dozens of stakeholders and transactions to bring food from farmers to consumers. Transaction costs are incurred by business partners to find each other, determine sales conditions such as volumes, quality, and negotiating prices and return policies. Because of information asymmetries, which occur when one stakeholder has more or better information than another, traders and consumers cannot tell whether a product is high quality or meets their environmental or social standards. This costs the farmer profits, drives them to choose quantity over quality, often at the expense of the environment, and limits consumers' product choices. But through digital technologies and mass access to data, the world's agri-food system can overcome these obstacles and deliver healthy people, a healthy planet, and healthy economies. The World Bank is a trusted partner in helping countries' agri-food systems navigate the digital revolution. Our new report provides insights into the potential of leveraging digital technologies to transform the agri-food system. Digital agriculture can create societal gains with the 3 E's. Economic efficiency. Through farmers being able to access multiple markets and lower costs through improved price discovery, buyer-selling matching, improved traceability, and quality control. Equity. Through the inclusion of smallholder farms and marginalized populations. And environmental sustainability. Through reducing food waste, better resource management, and rewarding environmentally friendly practices. Creation of and access to data allows new ways to evaluate small-scale farmers and agribusinesses' creditworthiness, improve their access to rural finance, and allows the design of affordable insurance products. Digital technologies also allow efficient government policy designs, policy implementation, and environmental outcomes monitoring. These benefits are great, but digital agriculture also has risks, like a digital divide. Many people still can't access technology or sufficient internet and don't know how to use it. The second risk is data governance. Farmers' business and personal information can be exposed, tempting misuse. Lastly, there's the risk of limited competition. There are concerns that digital markets will increase market power and filter profits to a few digital technology providers. How do we ensure the agri-food system benefits from digital technology? First, governments need to increase access to digital and physical infrastructure for data and technology use throughout the food system. Second, policies need to support innovative ecosystems for digital agriculture through open data sets, digital platforms, digital entrepreneurship, digital payment systems, and digital skills. Equally critical is ensuring a competitive environment for digital services providers. We also need policies that protect data use and sharing against misuse, and make sure the agriculture policies maximize digital agriculture's potential for environmental sustainability. Through the digital transformation and with the right policies, the food system can deliver healthy people, a healthy planet, and healthy economies.
It started with a seed. The seed of an idea. That we could help the world's food production keep pace with population growth and do this sustainably in a climate that is changing rapidly. That every farmer should have access to the breakthroughs in data-driven agriculture. Low-cost sensors that take the pulse of the soil in real time, communicating at broadband speeds across unused TV white space. Affordable drones that create detailed visual heat maps, identifying areas of the farm that need attention. And monitor livestock health, movements, and food supplies. It's the intelligent edge powered by machine learning and the intelligent cloud, empowering farmers at all levels to know exactly where, when, and how to plant and nurture their crops. Maximizing yield while minimizing expense and environmental impact. It's about making farms more productive, big, small, independent, and affiliated. Because it's time to rethink how we work the land and how the land works for us, meeting the challenges of the future as a global community. This is IoT for the Earth. AI that augments our own human knowledge, helping farmers grow a brighter future for us all.
Indonesia, the world's mega-diverse country. With all these gifted resources, from the land to the ocean, all these potentials inspire us to conduct research and discover high-impact innovations through sustainability towards the 4.0 era. To flourish with technology, this is our moment of contribution to our surroundings, our society, and our Earth, rendering our ocean as the world's maritime hub. Exceptional in agriculture, outstanding in bioscience, for a sustainable world. IPB University, Bogor, Indonesia. We put integrity forward. Since the future is created now.
Your Excellency, Baba Syahrul Yasin Limpo, Minister of Agriculture, Your Excellency, Baba Mohammed Ridwan Kamil, Governor of West Java, Azam Khan, IFC Country Manager, Andrea Della Mattea, President of Microsoft Asia Pacific, Pamitra Vineka, CEO of TaniHub Group, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen, Selamat pagi. Today we celebrate National Farmers Day, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the launch of Cultivhacktion, an inaugural hackathon on challenges facing Indonesia's agriculture. This hackathon is supported by the Ministry of Agriculture, West Java Provincial Government, and it is a collaboration between the World Bank Group and 9 strategic partners: Microsoft, TaniHub Group, GIZ, FAO, IPB University, Grow Asia, Plug and Play, Data Science Indonesia, and Planet. I want to thank you all for excellent collaboration and for the organization of this hackathon. I'm pleased that digital agriculture is the focus of this first hackathon. Agriculture accounts for 13% of Indonesian economy and is the source of income for 33 million farmers. Most importantly, it is crucial for Indonesia's capacity to nourish its growing and increasingly urbanized population with evolving food preferences. To meet those needs, it is essential to maintain and enhance agriculture's productivity, sustainability, and competitiveness. Digital agriculture has the potential to be a game changer in Indonesia. It can help farmers and agribusinesses access information, make better decisions, and use resources more productively and sustainably. It also provides an opportunity to attract a new generation of farmers and agri-entrepreneurs. The government of Indonesia is committed to strengthening digital approaches in agriculture and the food system. And the World Bank, in turn, is supporting the government in the transition to climate-smart agricultural technologies and approaches. We do that in three ways. First, by providing technical assistance on the transformations of Indonesia's agri-food system. Second, by planned financial support to support piloting and mainstreaming of digital technologies. And third, by leveraging our extensive global network and convening power to facilitate strategic partnerships for digital agriculture. To take full advantage of digital technologies, the government and the private sector will need to work together to develop a so-called digital agriculture ecosystem. This hackathon is an example of how governments, international organizations, the private sector, and civil society can come together to support young agri-tech innovators to develop solutions to improve livelihoods of Indonesian farmers. I look forward to today's discussions, and above all, I look forward to seeing innovations arising from this initiative. Terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Your Excellency, Bapak Syahrul Yasin Limpo, Minister of Agriculture, Republic of Indonesia. Your Excellency, Bapak Muhammad Ridwan Kamil, Governor of West Java, Satu Kakonen, World Bank Country Director of Indonesia, Andre Della Matia, President Microsoft Asia Pacific, Pamitra Vineka, CEO, TaniHub Group, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen, Selamat Hari Tani Nasional, Happy National Farmers Day. It is my great pleasure and honor to be here in this auspicious day for the start of Indonesia's inaugural Agriculture Data Hackathon. The theme of this year's National Farmers Day, Bertani itu hebat menjadi petani itu keren. Farming is great, becoming a farmer is cool, is an important call to action to empower today's youth to go into agriculture sector. As all of you know, Indonesia is one of the largest agriculture producers in the world, representing an important backbone to Indonesia's economy at the rate of 14% of country's GDP, about 40% of Indonesia's labor force works in agriculture sector, yet more than 60% of the farmers are over the age of 45-year-old. And about 50% of all farmers are smallholder farmers. A recent article by Jakarta Post made a dire prediction. If the rate at which the country is losing farmers continues, then Indonesia will likely have no farmers left in 50 years. These numbers are incredible. In addition to lower participation from the youth in the agriculture sector, low productivity, limited competitiveness, and lack of access to finance to smallholder farmers are also major challenge in the Indonesia agriculture sector. Therefore, how do we solve these major challenges? We believe that the adoption and application of digital technologies can serve as key catalyst to the transformation of the agriculture sector. Indonesia has a thriving and rapidly growing digital ecosystem, which is a significant amount of population having a smartphone and access to the internet. IFC is actively focused on working with private sector in the transformation of agriculture sector. The digitalization of the economy is one of the key foundations across IFC's country strategy. Harnessing digital technologies not only powers economic recovery in the short term, but also brings to agri-sector and SMEs greater inclusion, improved competitiveness, and increase resilience in the medium to long term. We believe that the success of fintech, e-commerce, and other digital platforms in Indonesia serve as a strong motivating force for the growth and scale-up of digital technologies in the agriculture sector. As you may have seen, Bukalapak recently became the largest IPO in Indonesia, raising $1.5 billion. Gojek's merger with Tokopedia to create GoTo is valued at $40 billion and will soon follow with its own IPO. Also, Indonesia has one of the most dynamic and thriving fintech sectors in Southeast Asia, with more than 350 fintech platforms registered in the country. As of December 2020, more than $1 billion in loans were outstanding from fintech platforms, serving more than 43.5 million borrowers in the country. We are already seeing AgTech platforms emerging in the country, providing better access to information to farmers, access to finance, and improving the supply chain so that farmers can have better access to markets. These digital platforms are taking advantage of technological advances to help farmers improve their productivity and gain access to finance. However, we are still in the early stages and more work needs to be done. We see the Agriculture Data Hackathon as a great way to help drive significant scale in the use of digital technologies by bringing together the public and private sector. By harnessing the power of crowdsourcing of innovative ideas and business models from AgTech startups, digital technology providers, and many others, we are able to design solutions that can help address the main challenges of low agriculture productivity and lack of access to finance. IFC is excited to participate in this inaugural hackathon and in future ones, since we believe it can unlock numerous potential opportunities where we can help further develop the agriculture sector. In particular, we believe that hackathon can help build connections for our financial institutions and manufacturing, agribusiness, and services sector in scalable manner on how digital platforms are improving agriculture productivity and access to finance through innovative business models and financial instruments. Together with the World Bank, the hackathon can help us explore opportunities for public-private partnerships through the use of digital technologies to introduce reforms in the agriculture sectors. Finally, the hackathon can serve as a forum to connect AgTech with the agribusinesses, suppliers, and financial institutions, and where IFC can evaluate potential investment opportunities in these businesses. Thank you very much for the invitation to speak and participate at this inaugural event, and we look forward to seeing our youth and innovators to come up with fresh, creative, and interesting solutions that can ultimately transform the agriculture sector in Indonesia. Terima kasih, and thank you very much.
Hi everyone, I am Pamitra Wineka, the CEO of TaniHub Group. I would like to warmly welcome everyone to the opening ceremony of Cultivhacktion. TaniHub Group is truly honored to work side by side with amazing partners that are not only highly respected in their own fields, but also share a genuine care for the Indonesian agriculture sector. For years, TaniHub Group has committed to build a fair end-to-end system for farmers. Our commitment is shown through our entities, where we source directly from farmers at fair prices and give them security of market. We also provide funding and knowledge to our farmers so that they can buy the best quality seeds and also plant and cultivate and later on harvest high yields at good quality. Last but not least, we have also built a sophisticated supply chain infrastructure system so that we can minimize waste from farm to table. Today, TaniHub Group is working with over 50,000 farmers all across Indonesia. We have also dispersed over $25 million and helping these farmers increase their productivity and also increase their income by over 25%. The road to an ideal agriculture system is still long, with many challenges with every step. The journey to an ideal agriculture ecosystem is still long, with many challenges too. This is why we are inviting everyone who share the same vision to come and create innovations that can help benefit the development of Indonesia's agriculture. But we can make change, but the time is now. So go to cultivhacktion.id to join our movement and send your best ideas.
Selamat siang, and thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to see your support and enthusiasm for Cultivhacktion and helping everyone realize the huge potential to digitize agriculture right here in Indonesia. So according to the United Nations, the world population is projected to reach 9.8 billion by 2050, which means there'll be more mouths to feed with the same or lower arable land and unpredictable weather patterns due to climate change. Look, put simply, we need to grow more food, but not just food. We need to grow more nutritious food without harming the planet. And we need to be more efficient with commercial crops that drive exports and the economy. And we need to do all of this with a land area that isn't increasing and water levels that are receding, climate that's changing, and people who are leaving this sector. Recent reports actually show that 5.1 million Indonesian farmers have moved away to work in industries or services sectors over the last 10 years. And unfortunately, this number is actually rising. And this is where technology plays a role in bridging the gap, removing the guesswork in agriculture and providing farmers with data-driven insights, which helps them solve some of the problems that haven't even been identified yet. In India, for example, farmers had been using age-old methods to predict the right sowing date, taking advantage of the monsoon season, but changing weather patterns led to unpredictable rains, causing poor crop yield and impacting their livelihoods. So working with Microsoft, partners and the government, farmers now receive automated voice calls or text messages that tell them whether their crops are at risk of a pest attack based on weather conditions and crop stage. They receive sowing advisories such as the sowing date, land preparation, soil test-based fertilizer application, and so on. And the state government can get price forecasts for essential commodities 3 months in advance for planning and economic stability. This is the future of digital agriculture, where technologies such as AI, cloud, machine learning, satellite imagery, and advanced analytics empower smallholder farmers, allowing them to increase income from higher crop yields, helping the agricultural community and, of course, their families. And right here in Indonesia, this sector has contributed 13.7% to the national GDP, the second highest contributor, which is why farmers are the lifeblood of the country. So it's important that we as a community come together to work with farmers and the agricultural ecosystem to empower them with the tools, processes and skills to work with technology so they can achieve more. We need to help them and the economy benefit from harnessing data so they can apply their intuition and knowledge about the crops to increase efficiency, farm productivity, and of course their income. And one of the ways we're doing this is working with the Ministry of Agriculture in Indonesia to implement cloud-based technologies, machine learning and advanced analytics. To fully take advantage of technology, we need a workforce with digital skills, which is why we're also working with IPB University to develop a centre of excellence in the field of Agro-Maritime 4.0. And look, these are just some of the opportunities accessible when the agricultural ecosystem is digitised. And I'm so pleased to share that this collaboration has been strengthened with other organisations who are equally committed to Indonesia's success. And Indonesia's success in digitising agriculture can be shared with farmers worldwide. And we know that's a natural next step in berdayakan digital economy Indonesia. Terima kasih and happy Indonesia's Farmers' Day.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sehat, sejahtera kita semua. Bolehkah saya buka maskernya dulu? Karena ini persoalan ada di TaniHub. TaniHub Group itu adalah sebuah kekuatan bangsa hari ini, besok, dan masa depan Indonesia. Oleh karena itu, apalagi kalau luncurkan, apalah namanya itu, hackathon. Hackathon itu pilihan katanya aja udah sangat modern menghadirkan hackathon itu. Dan saya berharap memang kalau dari data-data pertanian yang makin hebat, tahun ini, 1 tahun ini, bahkan 2 tahun terakhir, data pertanian kita NTP-nya tumbuh 104%, NTUP-nya tumbuh 104%, dan itu loncatannya luar biasa. Itu tandanya di pertanian itu bukan hanya untuk makan kan, untuk 273 juta orang. Pertanian itu adalah lapangan kerja. Kamu lapangan kerja di budidayanya, di on farm-nya ada. Kamu mau pertanian itu ada di petik dan olahnya, mengindustrikannya, ada lapangan kerja di situ. Ada margin dan pendapatan, keuntungan di situ. Bahkan tidak hanya itu. Dia diharapkan mampu menerobos market yang ada secara nasional, market yang ada secara global. Kamu boleh ekspor lah. Saya, Menteri Pertanian, pasti siap mendukungmu lah bersama jajaran untuk itu. Sebagai penutup, saya ingin mengucapkan selamat atas peluncuran program Cultivhaction itu. Kami harap program ini dapat menjadi upaya bersama mengakselerasi dan memberi dampak positif bagi masyarakat termasuk pada peningkatan kesejahteraan petani dan pihak lain yang terkait dalam ekosistem. Kamu menunjukkan bahwa bertani dan jadi petani itu keren dan kita ada di situ. Tidak saatnya lagi Indonesia kalah dengan negara lain. Ingat, negara ini keempat terbesar dunia setelah Cina, Amerika, India, Indonesia. Sesudah kita Pakistan dan Brasil kan. Oleh karena itu siapa lagi yang mau menjadikan negara ini menjadi negara sejahtera, negara yang bermartabat, kalau tidak kalian semua, anak-anakku para milenial yang ada. Saya beserta seluruh jajaran Kementerian Pertanian ingin mengatakan dukungan saya sepenuhnya untuk TaniHub Group. Saya tunggu kalian seperti apa sih harus membuat pertanian menjadi makin hebat. Kita nggak boleh kalah. Dan harus makin maju, makin mandiri dan modern. Dan aku selalu bersamamu. Terima kasih, ridha Allah bersama. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sampurasun. My name is Ridwan Kamil. I'm the governor of West Java. I would like to congratulate of this event, what we call Cultivhacktion. Is an event inviting all the young generation to create a digital solution to our agriculture challenge and also opportunities. As you know, West Java is a home for 50 million people, fertile land everywhere we go. And also we see during the COVID pandemic, there are three economies that are still strong. Number one is food security, second is healthcare, third is digital. So if we combine food, economy and digital, this is what we need in our Cultivhacktion event. We would like to see whether you have solution for our needs in the, what we call big data in our agriculture economy. We need to know where is the supply, where is the demand. We need to know which area can grow what kind of product that's suitable to the demand of the market, and so on and so on. Maybe second cluster is about how we produce more productive using digital, precise farming, for example, fish finding application, and many more in terms of what we call IoT, Internet of Things in agriculture. Maybe the third cluster is about financing, how people in the rural, young generation farmers can access easily with digital, what we call financial technology. And maybe another cluster is about how we sell and do commerce with e-commerce of selling our agriculture products. So many areas we need to cover using what we call the application, coding, and also anything related to digital. Therefore, I would like to thank you for this collaboration amongst Microsoft, also TaniHub, World Bank, and also the West Java provincial government. We are hoping through this innovation event, we will have solution for many questions and problems in our new economy, what we call digital agriculture economy. So once again, thank you for hosting the event, and I would like all of you to be
success, especially the participants from all over Indonesia, and we can show the world that West Java is a leading example, the forefront for innovation in terms of agriculture and food economy. And we are hoping more and more young generation will see food business, food economy as a new economy when it comes to combine with digital. So once again, thank you, and hopefully we have a very successful event. Thank you very much. Hatur nuhun, sampurasun. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Indonesia, the biggest archipelago in the world, with more than 17,000 islands. Spanning from the Indian Ocean to the Pacific, it is currently one of the world's major producers of agricultural products. Located on the Ring of Fire volcanic belt, this country is blessed with lush green and fertile lands, while the sun shining all year long. This combination creates a vast agricultural landscape with rich natural resources and fresh produce, making agriculture the second largest contributor to the country's economy. One of the country's biggest producers of agricultural products is West Java province. Spanning across more than 35,000 square kilometers of land, it is also the province with the biggest population in Indonesia. The fertile land of West Java is the reason why agriculture becomes one among the major sources of income for the people in the province.
Yang pertama ya pola tanam, karena kan kita nggak tahu juga, misalkan di Medan ada yang nanam kubis berapa hektar, berapa luasan, di Jawa berapa luasan juga. Yang kedua harga, yang ketiga update hama penyakit. Kayak misalkan kan musim hujan itu kan penyakitnya beda-beda, terus musim kemarau penyakitnya juga beda-beda. 3 informasi itu yang saya butuhkan. Untuk sekarang uji nyali ya, karena kan informasi juga belum sepenuhnya kita dapatkan, jadi ya nanam apa aja lah, yang penting nanam, terus ya ikut-ikutan sama petani lain juga.
Kalau pertanian hitungnya per tahun, Mas. Per tahun bisa 3 musim, bisa 4 musim, tergantung komoditas. Ada satu yang kalah, yang rugi lah misalnya.
Ada yang cuma 10% dari total, ada yang 30%. Jadi tergantung komoditas juga biasanya.
Kita pasti ketemu dengan seperti itu. Tapi kalau pasarnya bermarket, kan ekspor, agak stabil.
Packing house sendiri itu dituntut untuk supply secara terus-menerus ke pasar modern. Sementara panen dari petaninya hanya mengandalkan 1000 meter ini gitu. Ketika barangnya habis, packing house mungkin jadi kebingungan juga. Saya gak mau bingung-bingung nyari barang, ya mereka akhirnya lari ke yang siap secara kontinunya walaupun bisa dikatakan bandar. Jadi ketika misalkan harus ditanam dengan sistem pola tanam itu, jadi mereka nggak mau gitu. Katanya itu, Pak, tanggung kalau misalkan nanti tanam, misalkan yang punya lahan 2000 meter, saya suruh pola misalkan per 1000 meter, tanggung gimana kalau misalkan pas ini dapat harga bagus, yang lainnya dapat jelek gimana gitu. Karena apa? Pola pikir dari si petaninya mungkin belum dapat juga. Jadi ketika misalkan dengan sistem pola tanam itu keuntungannya apa gitu. Karena si petani saat ini belum dapat pasar yang pas untuk pasarnya sendiri, ya makanya mereka ketika saya giring pun untuk sistem pola tanam itu agak susah juga.
Misalkan kita ngirim 1 truk, ya kenanya sih yang kebuang 10-15%.
Secara jumlah penyuluh untuk di wilayah Kecamatan Lembang dengan jumlah 16 desa yang mana penyuluhnya itu ada 8, itu masih tidak mengcover secara keseluruhan. Karena idealnya itu satu penyuluh itu megang 1 desa.
Ya kita perhitungan berapa gitu angka yang dikeluarin ketika kita sewa dan ketika kita memiliki gitu kan. Soalnya katanya mahal gitu kan.
Kalau dilihat dari akurasinya itu paling ya 5:5 lah.
Kalau yang udah dari 1 hektar ke atas itu orangnya hidup-hidup katanya nggak mau diurus sama orang lain. Dianggapnya udah gedean kapital gitu. Kalau yang kecil ya tanahnya juga sedikit, ngapain gitu ikut kelompok gitu. Katanya ribet katanya.
The problems of Indonesia's agriculture are there, waiting for us to solve. The task is in our hands because we, as consumers, have the privilege to enjoy the products of agriculture. We are privileged for being able to make use of technology and innovations and exposed to great ideas from around the world. Our time has come as a nation. Join our movement to support local farmers so that they can have better livelihoods and a brighter future. It is for them and their families, but it is also for us and Indonesia. We are calling for Indonesia's brilliant minds to take this challenge. Submit your proposals and win the chance to be one of the country's greatest innovators in agriculture.
Selamat pagi to everyone tuning in from Indonesia, and a warm welcome to those joining us from other parts of the world. Thank you for joining us for the launch of Cultivhaction, a month-long hackathon that is aimed at catalyzing innovation to address the needs of smallholder farmers in Indonesia. Today we have a wonderful distinguished panel, and just to start the panel off, I would like to paint a quick picture for members of the audience who might not be so familiar with Indonesian agriculture. Despite the growth in Indonesia's service economy, agriculture and fisheries still plays a central role. Agriculture still formally employs close to 30% of the Indonesian workforce, and there are an estimated 30 million smallholder farming households. The country is also increasingly digitally connected, with close to 75% of the population using the internet as of last year. Between 2019 and 2020, 25.5 million Indonesians went online for the first time. Many of us would guess that this is due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which brings me to my first question for our panel. With the pandemic hitting the Indonesian economy hard, with close to 2 million people becoming unemployed between February 2020 and 2021, how important is agriculture, and what is the role it can play in supporting Indonesia's recovery? Now, I'll pose this question to Prof. Arif first.
Thank you, Bailey. The agricultural sector recorded a growth of 1.7% in 2020, while other sectors experienced a contraction. In January until July 2021, it is reported that agricultural export value increased by 8.7% compared to the same period last year. This shows that agriculture sector is very, very resilient during the COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, it is obvious that agriculture has an essential role, not only to provide food, but also raw materials for industry. And keeping the agricultural production during COVID-19 is a must. And therefore, in the early COVID-19 pandemic, much attention was drawn on how to prevent rural areas from the COVID-19 outbreak. Gradual improvement in agricultural logistics and transportation during the pandemic give positive impacts on the recovery in agriculture. And I think combined with digital solutions, agriculture play important role in maintaining the trade-off between health and economy.
Thank you, Prof. Arif. I was wondering, Ibu Ashri, from your perspective, how do you see things?
Okay, thank you, Welly. Actually, food sectors, as we know, has been always given privilege during pandemic. In TaniHub, we are in food sectors, and it was one of the 11 sectors excluded from mobilization limitations because we called like critical industry. What changing during pandemic is the customer behavior. Previously, so many people eating outside, hang out at cafe, those kind of things. It's gonna be shift to home cooking and more concern on food safety. Like everyone now is concerned on that. Just like Professor Arif mentioned before, supply chain models also shift from B2B to B2C in our side, from delivery in bulk to portion and also pack delivery, because we are now more serve B2C compared with B2B. In TaniHub, we have very huge demand on B2C segment, and also the process of onboarding the farmers. I mean, like it's bring like benefit to the farmers because we can like absorb traditional from the traditional market to the digital market, those kind of things, due to wet market is lockdowns on pandemic. So the farmers also now is like being shift from the local traditional more to digital.
Thank you, Ibu Ashri. Leslie, from your international perspective, I'm just wondering what your perspective is.
Well, thank you, Willie. Really appreciate the chance to be part of this great session. So I'm supporting Ministry of Agriculture with the World Bank team in Indonesia on the digital agriculture agenda. And for those who may not know what digital agriculture is, it is the use of digital technology to improve agriculture yields, efficiency, income, and profitability of the smallholder farmers. The current state of agriculture in Indonesia is we've discovered through our analytic work is about the data fragmentation, and that technology is not evenly distributed to the smallholder farmers in the rural communities. So recently, in the World Bank webinar on September 9th, the Ministry of Agriculture shared the top 5 priorities, some of which are very well aligned with the areas that our data hackathon is addressing, such as increasing productivity. The other one is diversification of production to different types of crops, the use of technology to address some of the challenges, and then using data to help with policy-making framework. So when we start looking at what government should do in this space and investing in digital public good, we see more opportunities for data platform investment, not just for the government, but also how they can reach out and help the smallholder farmers through small, medium enterprises and value chain participants and the AgTech community. And data collection is also another challenge, and data management to focus on reusability and accessibility of data that's been locked up in silos in various groups and agencies and organizations. But secure data exchange is so critical to be able to understand more about the land, soil, irrigation, crop, market, policy use, and all these areas related to geospatial imaging and IoT sensor. Now, to foster such innovation ecosystem, we are imagining what the future would be like with Data Hackathon to develop this vibrant data and AgTech ecosystem. And then, of course, having institutions such as IPB University to help with the digital capacity building and digitalization of some of the smallholder farmer is very important. Now, through this whole journey, we hope to discover what data can really do and empower the youth as part of this journey together.
Thank you, Leslie. I think the pandemic, if anything, has just highlighted the importance of agriculture and how technology is really going to help us get to the next phase, especially in Indonesia. I would also just like to bring in some of the other panelists for your views on what is the current state of agriculture in Indonesia, and what is your vision for Indonesian agriculture, and how can we pave the way to reach that vision? So I'll ask Pak Panji next this question.
Thank you for the question. I think I have on different occasion, I had an opportunity to discuss and witness about the agriculture technology implementation in Indonesia. So we all work toward the right path on innovation. IPB University, through their agro-maritime programs, is shaping all the innovation and create the clear value to the industry. That's the real evidence that we have right now. While for the Ministry of Agriculture, through their R&D department and the Pusdatin, showing the clear advancement in precision agriculture, such as field irrigation system using IoT, digital greenhouse controlling system, and also I saw that they leverage special data to enrich knowledge on the land condition and support the improved yield from the farmer. Not to mention the startup companies such as TaniHub and the rest of the ecosystem are moving toward the digitalization process for the agriculture domain. The challenge is how to bring all innovation into the right scale. That's, I believe, this is some of the key statement that we need to think of and also to consider about that. And meeting the biggest problem in our country, which is talking about the connectivity, platform with capability to scale in terms of the number of the farmer need to be served, nature of the land size owned by the farmer, infrastructure support, and also digital literacy from the farmer itself. So that's the key challenge that we have. And I believe this is something that we can discuss further. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Panji. I'll pose the same question to Prof. Arif, but in a slightly different way. Just wanted to get your view on what are you most optimistic about and also most concerned about in terms of the current state of agriculture in Indonesia, and what is the most important thing that Indonesia can do to support agricultural players and farmers to move to the next phase?
Thank you, Eli. I think I must be optimistic with the future of agriculture in Indonesia, just because the first is we have rich bioresources or biodiversity, which are the future of our lives and economy. And I think innovations enable us to utilize these resources optimally and sustainably, and at the same time increase the values of these resources. And we have already been introduced to various concepts of sustainable development, such as green economy, circular economy, etc. And it is now time to empower this concept through massive and affordable innovation. And of course, we have some concerns regarding the situation of agriculture in Indonesia, especially on the issue of smallholders, because the smallholders in Indonesia are the core players of Indonesian agriculture, and at least there are three big concerns in this issue. The first is smallholders have a low capacity to adopt innovations due to a lack of scale and capital. And I think it is a big challenge to create affordable innovation for smallholders. And then the second one is about the issue of regeneration process, because the regeneration process runs very, very slowly, because young people have less interest to work in the sector, particularly on farm activities. I think innovation development and business access may draw the interest of young people to enter the sector. And of course, IBB University have the special design how to improve our students, the next generation for agribusiness actor. And the third issue is about the land allocation policy, in which agricultural land occupies less than 20% of total surface land in Indonesia. And saying what is the important things can do be able to support the agri-player or farmers to move on to the next phase. I think more than half of Indonesian population live from agriculture, which should be central point of national development. I think increased investment in agriculture to modernize the agriculture and markets and make them more efficient and resilient is key to support the agri-players and farmers to move on to the next phase. That investment will not only help improve the country's food. And I think one of the important points is how to create the collaboration between industry and like TaniHub. I think our very, very important partners in improving agricultural practice in Indonesia. So the most of the farmers in Indonesia aware of the digital practice, not only in marketing, but the most important is in the production aspect. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Arif, for that very comprehensive and thoughtful answer. Just wanted to bring in Leslie from the perspective of having worked with multiple governments as part of the World Bank. What do you think about these current initiatives that the Indonesian government has in agriculture, and what measures can the government take to accelerate this digital transformation?
Thank you. I think Indonesia has a lot of great condition to make agriculture very interesting and exciting for the digital economy. Through our analytical work, we've identified three critical factors for digital transformation in agriculture to happen. One is data, obviously, next innovation, and the third is strategic partnership. So that brings multi-stakeholder partnership together between public and private sector, with leveraging institutional innovation to foster cross-pollination of knowledge and productive partnerships, and catalyzing data sharing, experimentation, and testing of emerging technology. And then the other part is on scaling proven solutions through national level engagements for an efficient, equitable, and environmentally sustainable food system. What we learned from Kenya recently with the government-to-government dialogue is around the role of government for digital public good. And they have created a digital transformation office at the Ministry of Agriculture in Kenya, using data and digitalization as a tool for that transformation in the last few years, focusing on a few key initiatives such as digital farmer registry, and also shifting to e-vouchers from physical delivery of seeds, fertilizers, inputs to e-voucher via mobile payment, facilitated by crop diversification. And they also have big data platform that enables them to understand more about farmers' data to provide that customized geospatial and timely agro-weather and market information to farmers and policymakers. So there's a lot that we can learn from Kenya in such an example. And they also have a thriving private sector in Kenya with fintech that strengthens the ag tech transformation. And we also learned from China some of the examples such as Pinduoduo by addressing farmer pain points from the perspective of what to sell through product insights, where to sell, to market access in their platform for online selling and e-commerce transaction, and how to sell from the training of farmers to run a business. And so in China, this has been a very vibrant ecosystem for farmers and consumers, creating that ecosystem that is very vibrant. So we hope to bring that to Indonesia from the learnings in these countries.
Thank you, Leslie. I think that's very interesting what we can learn from Kenya as well. Ibu Astri, turning to you and from your startup perspective, I think startups are very dynamic, we all know, especially in a young country like Indonesia. I wanted to ask you, what are you most optimistic about and most concerned about also in terms of the current state of agriculture in Indonesia, and how do you think the future will be and how do we get there?
Okay, it's interesting questions. There are a lot of new startups emerge in Indonesia, as we know, and covers many sectors in agriculture, like on-farm, post-harvest, logistics, supply chain, as well as marketplace and also e-commerce. I mean, like even though fintech in agriculture, also a lot in Indonesia. And in the future, there will be a lot of options for farmers and also customers to get the various services that available. So we give them option, not only one or two, but many option in Indonesia. In order to get there, I mean, like collaboration is the one of the way to achieve the goal. In TaniHub Group, we usually call collaboration is our middle name because we realize that we cannot do everything by ourselves. So we do inviting more sectors to involve in agriculture.
Yeah, Ibu Astri, I can't agree more that agriculture is a sector where we need multi-stakeholder collaboration. So now that the audience is a bit more familiar with the current state of play and your aspirations for Indonesian agriculture, I'd like to turn to the question of what Indonesia can learn from other countries and regions. It would also be wonderful if we can understand how agriculture technology is developing similarly or differently in Indonesia compared to other regions. So turning first to Andrew, I wanted to understand a bit more from the perspective of a global data company, what you think the future of data is for impact in agriculture, and what does this mean for Indonesia, where we might lack some historical or sometimes current data on smallholder farming in particular.
Well, thank you, Weili, and I would like to say on behalf of my organization, which is called Planet, we're delighted to support this very innovative activity. and the development of new innovations for agriculture is something we care very deeply about. In order to explore the answer to the question you asked, let me just first describe what we do, because it will be helpful to refer to it. Our organization has deployed the largest constellation of Earth-observing satellites in human history in a giant ring around the Earth. A ring of satellites, hundreds of satellites that orbit over the North Pole, down over the equator, over the South Pole, up over the dark side of the Earth. They spin basically perpendicular to the rotation, the axis of rotation of the Earth. Each one is a very small instrument, quite small, about the size of a loaf of bread, and each one is packed with extensive electronics and imaging technologies that allow us to image the entire surface of the Earth and the near oceans every day in high resolution. That's data, that means everywhere we are, every bit of Indonesia, every bit of the world, indeed, we took a picture of it roughly lunchtime every day. Again, not enough to practice surveillance, but enough to see every agricultural field, every forest, every community, everywhere. So what can you do with this data? It's about 25 terabytes of data every day. So we saw that everywhere you are and everywhere that people are watching this session today, we will have imaged about 1,700 times on average, going back the last 1,700 days. When you look everywhere every day, what you see are the signs of change. So you see the greening of each field and each crop everywhere on Earth. You see the growth of cities. You see the transportation of goods to market. And so from this very significant volume of information, we can extract all kinds of useful insights that can help smallholder farmers through the lens of providing digital services to them. So, for example, first we can get much better analytics about, and much better sense of what is growing where. And we can help farmers through the production of digital farming services that are delivered, say, via mobile phone, to provide better guidance on what to grow and when, if there is more or less rain, if there is an invasive pest, if there is a shift in market conditions. So providing services directly to the farmer, information service, it's an opportunity to both help grow the prosperity of the farmer, to help increase yield, but also to improve sustainability. And so to grow more with less, with a greater abundance of output with a reduced amount of input, potentially. Then there are all kinds of other things we can do. If you are able to assess what's growing in every field and when it will likely come to harvest, you can have a much better sense of the overall market conditions. You can help farmers with digital financial services. One of the other presenters mentioned the connection between ag tech and fintech. So if we understand what's growing in the field, we can use that information to provide credit services and financial services. We can use it to shift and smooth the payments to farmers so that they're not economically exposed, and we can help them take better risks so that they know they can take better risks about what to grow that might yield more significant revenue for themselves and their families. This revolution in agriculture, in sustainable and prosperous smallholder agriculture in particular, the lessons are coming from around the world. And Leslie mentioned what we're learning from places like Kenya, and we're learning them all over the world. There's this emergent innovation that comes from having the underlying data accessible. Now, the data doesn't just come from space, it also comes from the ground. We have to collect lots of information to extract these meaningful signals. And that's why the kinds of data analysis, the kinds of machine learning techniques that organizations like Microsoft and others are pioneers in are so essential to turning the raw material of the data into finished services and signals that smallholders can act upon. But those signals don't look like data. We're not going to bring all this data to smallholders. We'll just extract the relevant signal, and from that relevant signal, we'll be able to help them take more effective decisions.
Thanks, Andrew, for painting such a vivid picture of how Planet is capturing data and the power actually that's captured within it. Turning to Leslie, just wanted to ask, working with multiple countries, how do you see the future of agriculture, and how would the various stakeholders play a role? And how do you think Indonesia could facilitate greater collaboration among these stakeholders?
Well, thank you. I really like the technology topic that Andrew mentioned with his Planet data. I'm so excited about tapping upon that data for Indonesia. I think as a technologist, I also lean on some of the tools that are available for the multi-stakeholder to participate in a very immersive way. In my recent blog that I wrote for the Brookings Institute on digital technology and Africa smallholder farmer and implication to policy, public policy, I talk about how these technology can really bring about their transformation in agriculture, bring different stakeholders together to come and help them transform, because some of these are in the rural communities and has not been an easy way to address them, but the technology parts can really help accelerate the speed to change, and also making it easier for different stakeholders in government and private sector to tap upon these technology. And the Data Hackathon is a perfect example of creating what we call this environment that is quite nurturing and conducive to really bring these kind of collaboration that Ibu Astri talked about. So the 5 key areas where the technology can play such a role and facilitate that cross-pollination is that it empowers the smallholder farmers to leapfrog and harness new business model in such sharing economy, as example. In Nigeria, Hello Tractor and AgTech. And so that really creates new business model for agriculture, not just on farm, but off farm. Then there's also the whole derived value from agriculture data to create a network effect to drive scale. Twiga Food is an example in Kenya as well. And the other one is around gaining efficiency and reduce transaction costs through the digitalization of different process to create a higher level of transparency. And TaniHub is doing that in Indonesia. I've talked to many different AgTech, and we will have a roundtable during the period of the Data Hackathon in October to bring several AgTechs in the ecosystem in Indonesia to describe how they're doing that with technology. And the other one is democratizing access to market intelligence. That is very important because the whole technology kind of creates access to data and the marketplace in a seamless way. As you said, COVID actually accelerate that whole digitalization, creating a lot of activities online, and people are getting more familiar with the use of e-commerce and the mobile platform for the transaction. And this is happening also in the farmer communities, getting the local communities to help them accelerate that even faster. And we've seen that in many countries around the world, not just Kenya, Tanzania, Nigeria, Pakistan, India, just to name a few. And then the most important thing, of course, is around job creation for the new generation of farmers, around tech-savvy farmers, on-farm opportunity and off-farm opportunities. In Kenya, with million farmers, they've created this kind of opportunity for the youth. And we are hoping that the millennial farmers in Indonesia will also create that kind of tech-savvy youth to become farmers. And we know the Ministry of Agriculture and the West Java Governor's Office are actively fostering this kind of opportunity for the young generations to be farmers and to make farming cool again.
Thank you, Leslie. Turning to Pak Panji, from Microsoft's global perspective, what are some of the important things that Indonesia can take away from the development of agriculture technology in other countries? And I think Leslie used an important word, leapfrog. How can Indonesia use these learnings to leapfrog ahead?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Welly. I think echoing to what Pa Andrew and Bu Leslie mentioned, from Microsoft experience engaged with a different country, we saw consistent motion to enable data-driven farming. So this is kind of the common themes happen across the world, right? We believe that data coupled with the farmer's knowledge and intuition about his or her farm will improve their yield. The following area seems a bit consistent. One is about building the connected farm. So it's talking about how to data collecting through the sensor deployment, drone flight, farm equipment, and also the spatial data that like Andrew mentioned before. Second is about the AI-based advisory system. It's talking about the real-time actionable insight based on the ground condition combined with the remote sensing and weather pattern. So this is kind of the combination also that almost is seen everywhere, especially in the Ministry of Agriculture. And I believe Pak Arif Satria with the team has their own satellite and also have done kind of the focus area in IPB to leverage this spatial data and then bring the more insight to the farmers. And the third one is about the precision farming. It's talking about the irrigation, fertilizing, weeding, and also spraying application. And the fourth is about the traceability. It's related to what Leslie mentioned about how we bring all the data point and use such a technology like blockchain to track usage and compliance. Those 4 trends is also aligned to what IPB, World Bank, TaniHub, MOA, the Planet, and the plantations industry has been done so far. It's now time for all ecosystem to working together and realize all the initiative at the scale. That's the most important part, where we bring all the benefit from the IPB research, MOR, R&D activities, and also the practice from the World Bank across the world into one ecosystem platform for the Indonesia. So we need to work together. I think that's the key point where we can accelerate the implementation in Indonesia. So we can leapfrog and we can implement at the best from across the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Panji. I want to turn to Ibu Astri again, and how, from your perspective, how is this rapidly growing startup scene in Indonesia affecting the agriculture industry, and how should Indonesian startups take advantage of these developments?
There are several key sectors that will be trend, not only in global, but also in Indonesia. To name a few, on farm technology, such as using IoT, drones, those kind of things, and also satellite imaging. This is to assist farmers to take better data-guided decisions, not based on intuition anymore. Another interesting thing is to use big data as more and more data points and made available to be accessed by public. This is also global trends, and supposed to be Indonesia is already being adapting this technology as well. AI involvement in the business process also will create a massive change in agriculture improvement in general. So this is not only global trends, but also I think Indonesia is already been started. Some of our startups is doing all these things, and then yeah, we need to improve more. Of course, regarding the data and also the how to access the data points that we already been have.
Thank you, Ibu Astri. I think most of us would agree that technology is and will be vital for agriculture innovation, but to make this process inclusive is going to take a wide range of stakeholders, and we need to still better understand how to combine data and technology to create impactful innovation that can elevate agri-innovation in Indonesia, not just for agribusiness, but also for farmers and the community at large. So on this topic, I wanted to turn back to Leslie to ask the question of what is the role of technology really in supporting innovation and the future of agriculture, and how can we ensure that such technologies touch not only large companies, but also smallholder farmers?
Well, I think there's a lot of ways where technology can democratize the speed to market for many of the young agtech aspiring farmers to find new ways where these technology could be applied in a different perspective, right? Because it opens up new avenues for on-farm and then off-farm opportunities as well. I think this is where the sky's the limit, and there's no boundaries as to where you can take these technology innovation to greater length. And through this hackathon, they're also going to learn from international organizations and also solutions from around the world. We have GIZ, who is one of our partners, will also bring some of the agriculture solutions from different parts of the world to showcase what technology can do in terms of creating opportunity for youth and finding new ways where you can try out in a what we call agile fashion, the minimum viable product, to help them reimagine what it is like in an environment where you have a lot of folks like Microsoft, Planet, and each of these partners are providing the conducive environment for them to test out the idea in an agile fashion. I think that is where the real power is, because I come from Silicon Valley, and the ability to test out new ideas, creating minimum viable product, and quick turnaround, iterate on it, and not let perfection get in the way of trying new things. I think that is the spirit of what digital transformation is about, because it's not about just the end itself, but it's the journey that matters. And how do we get all the key stakeholders with government involvement that facilitate the runway and opening up new areas that they can thrive in, and then bringing private sector funding, so address access to funding, and creating this accelerated environment such as our partner Plug and Play is creating the opportunity for post-hackathon support, because this is not just an episode, it's a continuation of innovation momentum. So I see how technology can really bring forward this ecosystem building where it's across boundaries for private sector and big tech and small tech and medium tech all across, and then government as well, and international organizations such as the World Bank to really help convene this platform and bring all of us together. So I think I'm very, very optimistic when it comes down to the use of technology in an applied way. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Turning to Prof. Arif, from your deep experience with Indonesian agriculture, how do you think technology innovation will impact the agriculture sector and the wider Indonesian economy?
Yeah, thank you, Welly. And of course, technology innovation in agriculture is very important because it can improve the efficiency of resources and reduce ecological impact and a smaller carbon footprint, improving the quality of our lives. And I think agricultural technology innovation can also promote economic growth, and improving and bridging farmers' access to the latest technology can help them overcome their problem and increase their land productivity. And I think for this reason, universities like IBB needs to strive to provide more advanced innovation to the community. And IBB University is currently developing technology based on the Innovation 4.0. I think it is very, very important to support agricultural development in Indonesia. Because as we know that smart farming is necessary, smart farming is a must. And I think one of the important point in become our agenda is how to encourage the researchers and university to shift the orientations of research, not only for publications, but I think we have to think about impact. So enriching society with the new innovation is very, very important. And I think we need to have the strong collaborations, and TaniHub, Microsoft, World Bank, and Asian Guru Asia and other partners. I think it's very, very important to get together in accelerating digital transformation, especially for the smallholder in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Arif. Turning to Pak Panji, what are some of the successful approaches you have seen in using technology as an innovation enabler in the agriculture industry, and how do we build technology that can impact the wider agriculture community?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question, Welly. I think echoing to what Pak Arif Satria mentioned, I think we need to work hand in hand to provide best support for our beloved country. Start by building the trust from the ecosystem, learn on how to share the data, and build neutral sharing data platform across the key stakeholder. The openness is the key for us to start growing together. I believe that by introducing the planet as a data sources, a best practice from the World Bank, and also R&D department from the university and like the IPB and MOA, I think that's the key point where we can you can start growing. And then the second one is about put farmer at the centers, because everything that we do is actually trying to help the farmer, right? So understand their needs and develop the right strategy to engage with them. It is something that must, right? Let's take a look at the success story from TaniHub, how they can engage with the farmers and then to bring a new way of work, and also bring a new perspective to the farmer itself to be transforming their work, and then collaborate with the TaniHub to get much more benefit for their side. And then also the third one is create a clarity on how we can improve value chains for each commodity and bring the right technology to augment the process, such as a cloud, data platform management, AI collaboration platform, and also the cybersecurity. The concept of supply chain tower is also required, not to mention leveraging the IoT to improving telemetry function, and at the end, increase visibility across the components. Embrace with the AI and the cloud technology to ensure enough resources are available to provide service to all stakeholders and reach out all farmers across the nation. I think that's the key that we believe in Microsoft during all the engagement across the nation. The most important part is about the partnership, building the collaboration, and being open and being innovative. And we believe this spirit is also come into this hackathon session with the Cultivhacktion. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Panji. Turning to Andrew, I wanted to ask a bit more of a specific question on sustainability. So how do we leverage data, not just for building solutions, but in particular for building solutions or sustainability for the larger agricultural community?
It's a wonderful question, Weili. I think we are in a time, we are working in a time where the two most important global trends in front of us worldwide are the sustainability transition and digital transformation, and they're deeply linked to one another. All around the world, so human beings have changed the face of the earth. 75% of the land mass of the earth has been changed by human beings. 2/3 of ocean ecosystems have been transformed by human beings. We use 1/3 of our lands globally for agriculture. And this transformation is putting enormous stresses on the remaining places in the world. One of the principal drivers of deforestation is the expansion of agriculture as people convert forest lands into agricultural lands. And all of this is occurring before the next billion people arrive on the face of the earth in just the next decade. So we have a crowded and ever more crowded planet in front of us and that we're living on. And we have demands that are only going to increase to feed all of those 8.5 billion people by the middle of the decade, middle of the century. So if we are to live on the earth in a way that stewards its riches for the next generation, we must figure out how to do more with less. That is to say, for instance, we must figure out how to grow more on the same or less land. We have to figure out how to harness the Earth's resources without diminishing them to the point where we've completely depleted them. And this is where digital technology broadly has such a critically important role to play. So farmers work, there's so much wisdom in the farmer. The farmers, the practice of agriculture, traditional agriculture, has tremendous storehouses of knowledge. And yet, I think we can help in the current structure of agriculture in a couple of really critical ways. So first of all, let's just separate for a moment a couple varieties of agriculture. So on at one end of a spectrum, we have large, vertically integrated, monocropped forms of agriculture. This is agriculture that is commercial and is at a sort of enterprise scale where it's typically large format agriculture. And in some ways, collecting information about what's happening in such an environment is actually fairly straightforward, because typically those enterprises which are growing at large scale are growing, at most 1 or 2 or 3 crops. They're growing them on very predictable schedules. They know when and where. They have collected lots of information already. The kinds of technologies that Panji was describing, being able to observe what's happening on the ground and being able to extract signals from those observations, so that we can help the larger farms and larger farmers improve their yields, for instance, to meet that sustainability challenge of feeding the future without compromising the present, well, there's enormous value there. You know, in other areas where we engage in precision agriculture with large enterprise agriculture, we're seeing yields increases in, 10, 20, 30%. The benefit of the data transformed into guidance that can guide the behavior. And what that means is the farmer can use less water by using water at the right time and not wasting it, less fertilizer, less insecticides and pesticides, and all of those kinds of things that are part of the large farmer. But what's really fascinating is that, let's go to the other end of the spectrum with the smallholder, which is what we're focused on here. Here, the potential benefits to smallholders could be 100%. 200%. We've seen in some pilot cases just extraordinary levels of increases in agricultural productivity on the same land size. Now, it's historically been very hard to provide information to smallholders because you don't have some of the characteristics of the large vertically integrated, grid-like structures and pivot agricultural structures that you have in larger farming structures. And there's a lot of intercropping, and things are not registered at the same level, and the field and plot boundaries are not the same size. So it's a more complicated data collection problem and a more complicated data analysis problem. But now we're living through this moment of digital transformation where we're putting sensors on the ground and in the sky and in space, and we've developed the environments to collect all that information and analyze it with the tools of machine learning such that we can now begin to provide the same kind of guidance to smallholders, but potentially with much more significant results. And those results really break down into three things. They break down first into increased yields, which come with dramatically increased productivity, and prosperity. So one of the most important things is, how can we lift the smallholder? And I think someone said, I think Panji said, put the farmer at the center. We certainly have this opportunity to lift up the farmer and her family and his family and help the farmers grow and prosper economically while using less. So using less land, less inputs, less water, etc. And then finally, I think there's this opportunity, it's going to be absolutely essential, to feed everybody and to ensure that we reduce the risks of the 21st century. So this combination of sustainability, prosperity, and resilience really, I think, are the central things that all of these technologies ultimately provide. We can't build systems where we take the world's most advanced technologies and ask people to use them in the field, because not everyone is a technologist. But that's why we need this sort of new generation of entrepreneurial farming services, like some of the young entrepreneurial startup ventures that we've been talking about today. That represents yet another benefit from this, which is the economic uplift that comes from the entrepreneurial wave. So if we can help the farmers prosper, and we can help those who help the farmers prosper, then we have a good chance of making it through the sustainability challenges that will really define this century.
Thanks so much, Andrew. And I just want to give Ibu the chance to answer this question as well. Very quickly, on this topic of innovation, what is your biggest takeaway from TaniHub's journey to harness the power of data in agriculture?
From our experience regarding combining data and also technology, one of the example that we feels that it's a huge impact to the industry is to develop the supply and demand forecast matching system. So we have that the significant impact to the production planning, which could make the farmers planting what demands need. So it will reduce waste, not only from the farm side, and it will impact the price stability and also the farmers' welfare actually. So the supply and demand matching. This is very important for not only agriculture startups like us, but also for Indonesian agriculture sectors overall.
Thank you, Ibu Astri. We've come to the end of our panel discussion, even though we could have talked for much longer. In closing, I would just like to invite each speaker to share your call to action with the audience in 1 minute or less. Maybe I'll start with Professor Arif, and then Pak Panji, and then Leslie, Andrew, and ending with Ibu Astri.
Yes, thank you, Welly. And now we have to talk about hackathon. I think hackathon is an important journey for empowering people, and I think it is a window for transformation in agriculture to increase productivity and added values, create more ecologically friendly production and better economy. And I think taking part in this journey will enable us to give value to the community and nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think echoing also from Pak Arif Satria, we believe on the power of collaboration. The more people are aware on the digital agriculture, and the more people are committed to take a part of digital transformation process, the faster we can unlock the agriculture innovation through the technology, hence empowering farmers and Indonesia. Let's collaborate and take the experience through the Cultivhacktion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What an engaging discussion. And I noticed one thing that I had to call out, we had gender balance in this panel. And my personal advocacy is about gender empowerment and women empowerment, calling upon women agripreneurs to come forward. And because women are so disproportionately hit by the pandemic and induce agriculture setback because of the burden they bear at home and the farm labor. So I'm really hoping that there will be somewhere some innovative women agripreneurs will come forward. That's my personal aspiration. But in addition to that, I wanted this data hackathon to bring out the data exchange between government and private sector and examples of how we use digital technology and unlock the on-farm and off-farm opportunities for the young generation of farmers. So please come forward, join us in this journey together towards an empowerment of the youth and the whole agriculture ecosystem. And working together with all of us here, we will take a step forward in the transformation of digital agriculture. Thank you so much for all our partners to be part of this journey.
Over to you, Andrew.
Thank you. Well, as one of those supporting organizations, we couldn't be more delighted to help this effort. As all of us undertake the hackathon together, I just want to say we at Planet, because we are a global organization collecting data about everywhere on the earth, we've participated in a number of hackathon events before. And every single time we are incredibly surprised at the level of innovation, at the level of thinking, and at the insights that could only come from one place, from the place where we're working in that particular context. The opportunity to marry and to join together the local smallholder knowledge and these new technologies represents an opportunity not just to directly help smallholders and those that help them, but to help the nation as a whole and to globally lead. And so we're delighted to support this effort, and we wish everyone great success on the journey.
Thank you, Andrew. And last but not least, Ibu Astri.
Okay, as a startups, we would like to make a radical disruptions to improve agriculture. And one of the ways to actively involve in developing agriculture through a new idea and also solutions. And last but not least, we would like to make sure that agriculture is everyone's responsibility. Join our movement, click cultivhacktion.id, submit your proposal now, and we believe that together we can make change in agriculture sectors.
Thank you. Terima kasih to the whole panel and to you for joining us. Please join us tomorrow for the second part of the opening ceremony, and click and submit your application, please.
World Bank is committed and ready to support Indonesian agriculture and food system through data-driven digital technologies and innovations. Happy Farmers Day. Let's empower Indonesia.
Menciptakan sistem pertanian berbasis data merupakan salah satu tantangan sekaligus peluang utama untuk mengembangkan industri agrikultur di Indonesia. Bersama dengan organisasi dan institusi lain, Microsoft siap mendukung hadirnya ekosistem agrikultur digital Indonesia melalui Cultivhacktion. Mari bersatu untuk berdayakan ekonomi digital Indonesia. Selamat Hari Tani Nasional.
Hai semuanya, saya Ridwan Kamil, CEO dari TaniHub Group. Mewakili semua Tani Squad, kami ingin mengucapkan Selamat Hari Tani Nasional bagi seluruh pejuang pertanian Indonesia. Semoga sektor pertanian Indonesia bisa terus tumbuh dan menjadi kekuatan ekonomi Indonesia di kancah global.
We, Data Science Indonesia, are ready to empower the agriculture of Indonesia by enabling the data science communities to create data innovations in agriculture. Happy National Farmers Day! Let's collaborate to empower Indonesia.
Kami, mewakili Grow Asia dan Peace Agro, terus berkomitmen dalam mendukung industri pertanian di Indonesia melalui implementasi model-model kemitraan multi pihak yang melibatkan pemerintah, swasta, dan aktor lainnya yang mendukung inovasi pertanian yang berkelanjutan dan inklusif. Selamat Hari Petani Nasional. Mari bersatu berdayakan Indonesia.
Hi, my name is Wesley Harjono from GK Plug and Play Indonesia. We are ready to empower Indonesia's agriculture industry through our open innovation platform that supports young innovators and talents. Happy National Farmers Day. Let's collaborate to support our local farmers.
Saya Arif Satria, Rektor IPB University, mengucapkan selamat Hari Tani Nasional. Semoga semakin memperkuat kekuatan pertanian Indonesia dan mempercepat proses transformasi menuju pertanian modern sesuai dengan situasi terkini di era revolusi industri 4.0. Semangat, bangkitlah pertanian Indonesia.
We, FAO Indonesia, are ready to empower the agriculture industry of Indonesia by reducing food loss and food waste and promoting food safety in Indonesia. Happy National Farmers Day. Let's collaborate to empower Indonesia.